Uh, my guide was there as soon as you opened the portal. Beautiful white unicorn. And so I got on the white unicorn. I just felt so safe, and putting my face up against his neck. Life force. And we landed in a lot of green grass. There's a castle. We're next to a castle and a bridge.
Is this a place that you've been to before? Does it feel familiar?
Somewhat.
I want you to take a look around you, to the sides and even behind you, and tell me what else you see.
It feels like there's people around in the periphery, but everyone's doing kind of like their own thing. And mostly what I see is this bridge, and I see this big part of the castle. I don't know what it is. It's like a big tall, and you see small dark windows.
And did your unicorn already leave? Did your unicorn
Still on the unicorn right now?
Unicorn, okay.
We're standing there, just standing there.
Mm-hmm. So I want you to take a look at your feet and tell me what you see.
I'm in a full suit of armor. And I have like this chain thing, like netting. So my eyes are the only thing that's showing.
And it sounds like that's used for protection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so do you feel that you were called to the castle? What do you feel is your purpose?
I feel like I'm a protector. Whoever's in the castle is somebody that I am protecting.
And the person that's in the castle, is it someone who lives in the castle, or is it just visiting?
No, it's somebody who lives there.
Okay. So this place is very familiar to you then, this castle.
Yeah, I feel like I know. I'm a man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised.
Why are you surprised that you're a man?
I don't know.
And so and who is this person that lives in the castle?
Someone who is there. They're in charge of the land.
Okay.
They oversee the land.
And the land area, it sounds like it's pretty vast.
Yeah.
Is it male or female, the person you're protecting?
It's like flip-flopping. Maybe it's two.
Two people?
Yeah, it's a man and a woman.
Are they married?
But the man is cowardly, and it's really the woman who's ruling.
Okay.
Yeah, the man is the one that's in charge, but it's really the woman who is calling the shots.
And how do you like working for this couple?
I feel very proud.
How long does it feel that you've been in service?
Since I was young, this is what I've always wanted to do. I admired those on the unicorns. It is not of Earth. It's not on Earth.
So unicorns are very they're familiar that live on the land. The people interact with the unicorns all the time.
Well, not everyone can. It's an honor to have a unicorn. It's an agreement between you and the unicorn.
Oh, okay.
It's like a soul contract.
Is it easy?
That we're working together. We travel through time and space.
Oh, so tell me more about that.
This couple are, so it's more than just, they oversee the whole planet. They oversee the whole planet. And so I travel from different dimensions or feels like different planets. Galactic, feels very galactic. So that's right away when you opened up the portal,
Mm-hmm.
I was used to traveling this way. So I could see myself in a dark, vast space with a lot of stars and planets. And he was waiting for me. Like we used to, like this is where we did this.
And so what do you do? What is your role when you're traveling?
I'm a messenger.
Oh, and are you just sending messages from the couple, from the people that you work with?
Yeah, it's about keeping peace. It's about communication, accurate communication. That's the type of protection. It feels like it's not protecting from wrong information. It doesn't feel like there's any type of, I have no weapons. The weapons or the shadow side of the light is the wrong information or the oh my gosh, like, oh yeah, about the it's like I am helping. I'm seeing waves, like colors of waves of vibration. That's what I was seeing, like the unicorn. That's how he helps me. It's like these colors, like his tail was like these rainbow of colors. And so it's very important. It's the work we're doing together. It's like his mystical piece that I can't fully comprehend. It's somehow, that's how the information is. Okay, it's the information because the many different planets have different ways of communicating, languages, if you will.
Okay.
And it's but they're all able to understand the color and the vibration. And that's what the unicorn helps me with.
So the unicorn sounds like has the ability to translate or to kind of take the message that you're carrying and translate it into the language, or the language, quote unquote, or the frequency of each of those planets.
Yes. Like that's the universal language, and then it can be interpreted through whatever language they're using.
And so the messages that you receive, are they a physical message that you're carrying, or is it how is the message
It's the unicorn is the one that helps to put it into this universal language. So I'll say king and queen, but it doesn't feel exactly like that. There's other words they use. But they're like in charge of the planet. They're not rulers because they're not ruling anyone. It's more like it feels like they're just in charge of the energy of the planet because there are not a lot of people on this planet. Everyone that was around in the periphery had their own specific purposes, but it feels like the planet itself isn't for people to quote unquote live on. The couple is there to care for the planet because it's part of the whole. It's very important for the vibration of the universe.
And what makes it so important? Why is the planet so important to the universe?
It's about the color, something with the color. It's like a orangey color. I'm not sure what that means. It's like it's almost like the vibration. It's like a rainbow couldn't be a rainbow without all the colors. That's how it is. The planet is completing. That is the way it's necessary part of the whole.
Well, if
it's about its vibration.
And so it's important to maintain that vibration in.
Yes.
Because it sounds like it's I don't know if I want to use the word foundational. It's just universe.
The other colors and sounds and frequencies could not do their job without it. It would be incomplete.
And so what is required for the planet to maintain its color and its frequency in the universe?
The communication between what I'm doing. That's why it's so important. That's why I was so excited to do it.
Oh.
It's to keep it as part of the whole, to help the frequency. It's the clarification of the frequency. Feels like it's a tuning fork kind of vibration, like when it bounces off the other ones, it's helping the whole.
And so are there other...
And the colors are changing. It doesn't stay that color. That's how, from the outside, you can see that it's shifting. It's doing its job per se.
And so really this couple, are they the only ones that are kind of maintaining the frequency?
Yeah. It feels like it's a very lonely position in there. They feel like they're the only ones in the whole castle. And so that's why this big tower at the other side of the bridge, that's where they usually are. So their enjoyment is looking out into the galaxy and seeing the colors. That's how they can reflect. They can see the colors of the other planets and stars and have the satisfaction that that's what they're doing is assisting. Mm-hmm. It's almost like these colors they're just, it's like they're changing, like what we on Earth see as looking at the sunset. Every sunset is beautiful, but it's different, and it's like a work of art. And so as they look out from their vantage point, that's the beauty. And they know that they're part of that, doing their part.
Have they been doing this work for a while?
A long time. They've been there a long time. A long time.
Do they have any children or others who can take on this role?
No.
And is there a succession plan, or is there just no need to? They just are ageless?
Yeah, they're in timelessness.
And so are you also in timelessness? Because you mentioned that you were a young boy wanting to do this work.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I have a different role.
Okay.
It's much, in Earth years, it's a lot longer. In Earth years, I look like I'm 36, but I'm much older.
Okay. Like double the age or triple the age?
Probably 100. There will be succession for me and my unicorn.
And do you have a family?
No.
Is there somebody that you have noticed that could be
I get my joy from all these different beings. I am connecting with many, many, many beings.
So tell me about.
I'm fascinated by all the different beings. They look so different.
Yeah, so tell me about that. So when you're delivering messages, you are actually interacting with other beings as well. It's not just that you and your unicorn are flying through near the planet and just sending the vibration. It's more like you're actually landing
I
on.
physically go, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm seeing the one that I am fond of. It's orange. This being is orange. And it's half the size of my physical body. It looks kind of it looks like kind of like robotish, but it's like if you were to touch it, it's squishy.
And it's orange. So
It's orange.
is being like gray or metallic.
No, it's orange.
Mm-hmm. And so does it have, so it has eyes and
No. It feels like it is it's a creation. It's a creation from another group of beings. It's like a hybrid.
and through the communication that you have with this being, is it through the unicorn at that point?
It takes both of our fields and our focus to communicate.
So you and your unicorn,
Yes, my intention is extremely important because I get the directives from my home planet.
mm-hmm.
And my unicorn is more of the technology. But we have a very close, as you would say, emotional connection.
Mm-hmm. And when you and your unicorn deliver the message to other beings, what happens then?
It's there's like a lot of excitement and joy. They're so excited to get the messages. Like I see this orange being and it's so, even though it has no eyes or anything, it's just, I can feel the energy of excitement.
And so is there any
because everyone knows they're doing their part. They feel really proud that they are contributing.
So they understand their role.
Yeah. This is a very revered galaxy.
Is this galaxy near the Earth galaxy?
No.
Mm-hmm. And what dimension are you in?
8 and 17.
So 2 different dimensions at the same time?
That's how we're communicating through those 2 dimensions. That's part of the purpose.
Tell me more about that.
I'm seeing how 1 and 7 equals 8. It's what both of you have been talking about. It's the exchange of information between two dimensions.
When do you know you're in which dimension? Like, do you currently stay in one dimension, and when you send out the communication, it's in another dimension, and when they receive it, it goes back into your dimension? Or I'm just trying to understand how they interact with each other and how you deliver messages.
It's a well, it's a hologram. So it's we make it fun by feeling that we're traveling far, yet we're overlaid on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of the frequency of our intention that changes the dimension. And so it's what we have learned to do through focus. We can choose to, it's like take the long road or the short road, and we are excited and thrilled to see what we create. And we've discovered that the joy and the purpose is to be creative, and what our path looks like. So, and this is what gets the little orange man excited. It's the creativity of, they see us travel to them.
Uh-huh.
And it's like we're painting it. It's like we're painting the picture of the path along the way. And we have a huge palette of, how you would say the best description is, art tools, paints and clay and pastels, and it's the closest analogy to use, in that we could easily just focus and be there instantaneously.
Mm-hmm.
But we know that that's not the purpose. We create this path with this plethora of tools that we have, and we share it with those with us that we're sending them messages to, so they can see our path.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the telepathy, they are with us in this. So they hear the sounds, they see all this, what we've created, from one place to the next.
It's like they're experiencing the journey with you.
Yes, exactly.
In some way, versus like a shortcut where you're like
Yes.
you go from point A to point B, but then
Yes.
you enjoy watching the colors and the clay colors.
Inspiration to them.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say about the 7th and the 17th dimension and how they differ?
It's the 8th and the 17th. It feels like it's seeing a bell curve. Showing me a bell curve, like it's part of the sound, it's part of the wave. Like the 8th is at the top and the 17th is at the bottom. Part of what I'm doing is creating more momentum between the two.
And how do you do that?
Through the efficiency of my message.
And how does a message become more efficient?
through my creativity.
Can you
Yeah.
give examples?
So when I am utilizing all the tools, like for instance, my intention is one tool. So that's not using very much creativity, but I have infinite amount of tools. So it's almost like the more that I can bring in, and that's the joy they see. Oh, she used this. He used this. They used this. I never would have thought to use this in such a way. That's how they're inspired as well to do the work they're doing, which is different, yet they have a similar set of tools.
Is it almost like do you feel like you're teaching them also in how to use these tools?
No.
Inspiration.
I'm being an example. I am sharing my joy and creativity. And they see because they're on the journey with me, and it's like they feel the same feelings I'm feeling during the journey. They are part of the journey.
Oh, so when you're in the
It helps raise their own they're part of the frequency shift.
So they're really tapped into your creativity as you're
Yes.
working. So as you're doing this you're sending a message to one planet. The other planets, are you connecting to them as well, even though you're going to, planet A?
No, there are others like me.
And they also work for the same couple?
No, different. They all have their own planets.
So do each of the planets have their own messengers?
Yes.
Okay, so then there are messengers that also come to your planet.
Yes.
Are you familiar? Do you socialize with the other messengers and their unicorns?
We see each other, but they're very focused on their own. They're very much excited, like I am, to have the freedom and don't really require or desire interaction with the other messengers.
I mean, do you look like a human? Or do you look like
I don't know. I just see the
armor?
yeah.
And do all the other messengers, are they also wearing very similar outfits?
No. That's what it is. No, I just feel a dark. I feel like the energy of eyes in the opening, but that's just what I chose as part of my creativity as well. So everyone is different. They create their own
avatar, so to speak.
Their own look. Yes. Mm-hmm. Their own physical look. And they're able to change it, of course. But typically we choose something that, it's about me to feel safe. It's again it's also part of our own evolution.
What do you mean?
What we desire. What we feel we want, we can create anything. So for me, I want the feeling of feeling safe as I'm traveling.
Did you have an experience where you didn't feel safe?
From another lifetime.
Another past life?
Yes.
I see. Okay. And do you remember your past lives?
I know all of my past lives, yes, in this life.
That's very different from humans, because humans don't really recall their past lives. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where did the unicorns come from?
They're no different than I.
So do they come from another planet?
And it's their choice of how they want to be a part of this dimension and galaxy. I'm feeling the unicorn has some type of crystal right on its chest right here.
Is there a color to the crystal?
It's a light lavender. There's a significance there.
Do all unicorns have a crystal there?
Yes.
And what's the purpose of that?
It's part of their technology.
Oh. Do you know what other unicorns do if they're not working with a messenger?
No.
Is there a color to his horn?
It's a golden color, yes. Golden.
Mm-hmm. And can you describe a little bit more about your unicorn? A little bit.
Well, it's all white, and his hair along the top of his head and mane and his tail are rainbow pastel colors.
Beautiful.
And some colors that are not of Earth.
And so when you first started writing a unicorn, what was that feeling like?
I can feel it now. It's a strength, tremendous power, connecting to tremendous strength and power.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like there's an energetic cord between my sacral and the unicorn's sacral chakra.
Any reason why the sacral chakra for the connection?
It's the root that there is a significance. It's just that's where we meet physically.
Oh, because you're sitting
Mm-hmm.
on the unicorn. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Does your unicorn have a name?
Z-I. Z-I. Z-I.
And what do you call yourself?
I have to ask someone, what do they call me?
Okay.
Zeus. I was named after the god.
Mm-hmm. And so what about your family? Do you visit your family much?
I don't really have a family. My unicorn is my family.
So who raised you?
I was raised with the nature spirits.
Tell me more about the nature spirits.
It feels like it was on the other side of the planet, where that's where the grass was showing, that green grass. It was about learning through the elementals and about different languages. So I was being prepared to be the messenger. So I was learning the things that were necessary in a very playful way.
That makes sense because they're creative and playful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was important for me to stay in the place of no limitations.
Mm-hmm. So I want you to connect to the fairies, the elementals. And I want you to ask them, how you came to them and what happened to your parents.
They created me.
Oh,
That was their joy.
that's part of their creativity.
Yes.
So they really are your family. Like,
Yes.
mhm.
I don't really have a physical body. That's the thing. That's why I have the armor.
So beneath the armor, what do you look like? Describe your essence, your energy.
All I see are my eyes, and they're crystal-like. They are like the colors of the rainbow, and they change. They're beautiful in many facets, and they're very powerful.
What do you mean by powerful?
Each of the nature spirits brought in their own color to contribute. This is, in essence, all I am of as an earth being could understand, because I am more of an energy field. So not shapeshifter, it's just an energy field, so that I can, whatever I decide to create, I can be inside that container.
Container being meaning in the form.
Like my suit is a container, and this is what the other messengers are as well.
Okay.
They choose their container.
Mm-hmm. And so then for food, do you require any sustenance?
No.
Mm-hmm. Do you need rest?
I get my energy from, or I get my sustenance from the work I do.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of that momentum. It's like it increases the frequency.
Do you ever need to rest?
I had many resting times before this life.
So you're just ready to just move, or just to...
It's a different type of moving than what you're familiar with on the earth. So because it's not in what you would see from physically moving, it's more of the focus. And so during the travel, it's a combination of sustenance / rest. It fills, as you would possibly say, your soul.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how I remain regenerated. I remain fueled, because it is also important to have a somewhat steady fuel, as you would say. And like an earth and eating food, you don't want to go for long periods with no food. So, or have a bunch of food and no food. It's the same thing.
And do you have anything that you'd like to say to the collective here on Earth?
It is about joy and creativity, and the two together entwined. And your tools are also infinite. They are here now. It's about you developing your eyes to see them, and not your physical eyes. We're helping you with that.
Well, sometimes it's hard to not be able to see or trust the non-physical if you can't really see it with your physical eyes.
Mm.
I think more and more of us are trusting our intuition and knowing that there are non-physical beings helping us.
In the dream state, there will be more revealed. It would do good for the earth people to, without too much effort, be open and allow the information that comes during that time to sharpen that skill of seeing. They think that what is in the dream state is not real, and it is it is real as your third dimension.
I know that Elizabeth has some questions. Are you the right person for us to ask these questions, or is it best for us to connect to her higher self?
I can answer 2 of her questions on the list. It seems like it's the first question you're going to ask and the third question you're going to ask.
Okay, so about her work? Is that the first question?
Yes.
About her work? Okay. So can you tell us a little bit more about her work?
Well, she is on the right path with a messenger, as this is our theme. It is our purpose. It is our pleasure. It is our passion in all dimensions. For her in this lifetime of the third dimension, in this time-space reality, for her too, the dreams will become more revealing, to write them down, to trust. They will become more and more literal. They are somewhat already. This is what we were showing to you or telling you too, is the more she's been working with them for quite a long time. And the more you work with them, the more you will, it's like the brain has a higher capacity to translate, much like what we do. She is part of us in this dimension of interpreting all languages. It's that skill that's very much in alignment. She can develop her brain. And we say languages, but it's not languages, it's really frequency and vibration. So that transferring information from human to human is less about language, which she has already picked up on, and reading frequency and vibration. So information from this timeline will assist her in understanding and giving her the clarity she requested. There's parallels there with giving and receiving messages from various earth beings and other beings, not just humans, to pick up and translate information. And for her, it's not all about her understanding every frequency and vibration. It carries through with her in her DNA and in her field, similar to what the unicorn is doing. It's like her rainbow body. It's her field that is assisting her. So, as you might imagine from our description of what we're doing here, her field around her, non-physical field, is like the unicorn. And it will be transferring information that she may not fully understand in this time space, but the receiver and the giver will be picking up on that. Therefore, they will be sharing the information that will assist her and those that she is connecting with next. they might not understand it. It is like it will activate their remembering, their understanding of the message. They might not put it together. It may happen instantly. It may happen days after. But from her energy field, it's kind of like I see a cloth in your earth to pick up dust, and the center of the cloth doesn't ever touch the dust.
Mm-hmm.
But it's these small particles that are very much part of the field on the outside of the cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't ever have to touch. This is another way she stays very clear and clean. And if some of these particles are not in her highest good, it does not affect her field. You see, it stays on the periphery, but it could be very beneficial. This is what her soul, our highest self, intends, that what may not be good for her will be very good for the person she will be communicating with or connecting with. So there is no judgment, what is good or bad. She's just the messenger of the information that will be perfect for the next human that she interacts with. And the beauty will be that they may or may not connecting with her. It doesn't matter.
Just for clarification, what do you mean by some things that may not be beneficial for her? That might, like, can you just clarify that?
It could be a belief system that she has already utilized for her highest good that no longer serves her, but would very well serve another.
By her sharing her story?
Well, what we're seeing is less about, again, and she's been using very much stories, as you would call it, but where she's moving to is it's these frequencies that, for lack of a better term, attaches to her outside of her field that she is carrying to another. So it's nothing that she has to say or do.
It's just energy.
Other than how she is being guided, similar to what we do, is she is being guided through her joy. So with us, when we create this beautiful pattern, as you may think of it, painting scenery of going from one place to the next, this is what brings us joy, this creativity. Similar in her 3D life, it's the following this joy. For her, she may not be within more than 6 feet at this time in your time-space reality, but her energetic field is definitely in connection with the other person that is around her, or other persons or beings that are picking up and translating that energy field in precisely the perfect way. When this is the key. When she is in her joy, she will be in the place where the other beings, plants, animals, earth beings, will receive exactly what they need for their highest good, that will benefit them in the best and most aligned way.
Mm-hmm. Does that also apply to other humans? If they're in their joy, they're also being and helping the elements, and the animals.
Yes.
Okay.
Precisely. It is of truth for all. it's like this infinite vast toolkit. You are putting on makeup and you have many choices of colors and palettes and things to make up your face, but you have your favorites that you always go to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what brings you the most joy. It's similar to that in that for her, that is what brings her joy, being the messenger. For you, that is, and for all beings, it's something that's being done, but it's not your go-to. Your go-to could be the one of infinite many other things, but the commonality is your unique joy. What brings you your unique joy? Like in our space, what I do at this time is similar in that I have the way I create my scenery, my path will be very different from any other messenger. They could never recreate. I cannot say, but I know that it is very different than how I choose to create mine.
And that makes sense because we're all unique.
Yes.
Would light language help?
Light language is extremely supportive to her entire field.
Okay.
With light language, and the intention is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
And as you have a core frequency, it affects the core frequency. So it's much like you say in the 3D, to take some type of drug, it's not going to go directly to one organ. It's affecting your whole. It's the same with light. It's the same with light language.
Right.
And it's a high vibrational effect, of course. And so absolutely it would help and also support her in her other intentions.
Well, thank you so much for all of your time. Really appreciate it. Is her higher self available for us to chat with?
Yes.
Am I speaking to her higher self?
Yes.
So what was she doing with her hands in that life? Just moving energy, or?
She's creating new galaxies, worlds.
Is she what we would call, what humans call our creator?
No.
Is that dimension higher than the 21st dimension?
There is some understanding about the dimensions that are still being created.
Oh. So the spiral continues.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's ever expanding. And it isn't exactly something that you cannot understand yet with where you are in your evolution.
Right.
And it is not needed at this time.
Mm-hmm.
All that has been brought to your timeline is more than enough, as you know.
Well, thank you for that. And so is she to do something with the Akashic records in this life?
Yes.
Is she to do readings?
She is a part of the collective, as you are, to help those remember their own time in the Akashic records, whether it be planning this life or other lives. You as well have been an assistant in the Akashic records in this vast information field. And so it's almost like many of your collective have spent time here as foundational training to understand the whole.
When you say collective, our collective, are you speaking in terms of our soul family, or the ones who are all awakened at this point in time?
It's harder to put into the terms you will understand. There is no like what your wish is to see me be able to describe all the lack of a better way to say all white people on earth, all black people on earth. A soul collective are most at this point in time are incarnated that are in your collective. They are those focused on what you are calling light work. You are the combination of those who are the bridge per se between the third and fifth dimension, working mainly in the fourth dimension. Many have their space of energy in several dimensions between the third, fourth, and fifth, and many have access to many other dimensions, but are mostly grounded in this time-space reality to assist the planet and her beings with this tremendous transition.
What is her role with the Akashic records in this lifetime?
This is open for her enjoyment.
Okay.
She will discover further gifts, rememberings, as she practices with those who show up and also want to play in the sandbox with her.
Right. So it's almost like she needs to experience accessing the Akash and then playing around with it with others and then making a decision of what she wants to do next with it.
It'll show up. There will not be a decision needed. It'll be very clear. This is the clarity she requests. It's as she has experienced that there will be no decision needed. It will be clearly the next logical step. So that is what clarity truly is.
Does she need to seek a teacher or read a book or anything like that, or just ask you?
There will be, yes, they're coming. Oh, what you provided, there will be more, just as she's experiencing. They're all connected already in the field, lined up for her. And so what will quicken the pace is her own free will of taking, starting practicing or creating the opportunities or saying yes to the opportunities that present themselves.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to expand upon with the Akash, with her?
This is in alignment with her understanding of the many lives in one life and the spiral nature of her life, of the increasing consciousness over her physical lifetime. seeing her as a younger child in school in the library, as she was a very astute, focused child. And when the joy was diminished, it was purely the topics that she was being forced or being put into with the educational system in the earth. And so there was some confusion because her soul was very much in enjoyment of research. And so this remembering, when it is in alignment with what the topics that bring her joy, this is where it will create much more momentum, as she has struggled with the desire to learn and study, but she gets off track with not following the subject of joy and following others' guidance to what is right for them and not for her.
Can we just do a quick body scan?
Yes.
Okay, let me know if you find anything. If you can start from the top of her head and make your way down to her feet.
There was a itch on her foot she noticed earlier today. That is a space. She wanted to know what it was about. It's about moving forward. She's ready. She's itching to move forward.
Okay.
And her body is ready to take her. Oh, yes.
Okay.
And when we say movement, it's trusting that it's all moving.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not, again, as the earthlings normally understand that.
Right. Well, what dimension are you in?
I am between the 6th and the 8th. I am also on my own growth evolution. I have touched into the 8th, but my home dimension is in the 6th.
Is there anything that you can tell us about the different dimensions, the one that you're in versus what Zeus was in versus the 8th? Because Zeus was
I am here to be easier access for Elizabeth in her 3rd dimension.
Okay.
As she shifts hers,
Mm-hmm.
I shift mine. We work in congruency and coherence, just as she has 3rd, 4th, 5th on 6th, 7th, 8th.
So what Matías says in those videos and how he describes different dimensions, is that pretty accurate?
It is extremely perfect for your evolutional understanding, where your brain and processes of growth are. Mm-hmm. Even he is at his own viewpoint, and he has bravely volunteered to come and share his message, as he did not have to incarnate at this time.
I know.
It was his choice.
Wow.
And he is a very playful soul.
Mm-hmm.
And enjoys challenges many would feel as challenges he sees as fun.
Yeah.
And he likes the physicality of the third dimension. He has had many, as you would say, relationships with you all because of his work in the Akashic records.
Right.
And so he feels connected to, so as he is part of all this in a way that is feels more dense than most. So he truly has an affinity for the many beings of the earth.
That makes sense. And let me know if we're complete with the body scan.
Yes, she just got a physical affirmation that she needed to hear.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming through. So much.
Thank you for being a facilitator in this time-space reality.
My pleasure. Honor is mine.
Oh, wow.
How was that?
Wow.
How long do you think that was?
It feels like it flew by, like 30 minutes. I know it's got to have been more than that. How much was it?
It was 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. It's so crazy. I'm like, I was aware that some really good information was coming through, and I was like going, oh my God, I can't wait to listen to this.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. I was just, wait, you're on a unicorn and unicorns are normal? What?
That was probably the coolest thing, because it was like right there. I can just feel you opened up the field, and there he was. It was like, jump on, we're going.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And I could just feel like me putting my cheek on his neck, and I could feel the muscle, like the muscles in this, I want to call it a horse, but yeah. So it was almost like, I'm like, just cut to the chase, let's go. I was like right there, right? And
Yeah.
before you even took me there, I was like standing on this grass, and I saw the bridge and I saw the castle, and I was just waiting for you to catch up. Well, what I do remember really vividly are these eyes.
The rainbow eyes.
Yeah, they were so beautiful.